Okay everyone, this will be part 2 to tillering the self bow. After you have finished your rough tiller, I'll show you guys here in a second. You finish your rough tiller with your large tillering string. You want to make sure that both limbs are bending pretty consistently, nice and even, because if both limbs aren't bending even, one limb is overpowering the other, causing undue stress on the weaker limb. So when you've done your rough tiller and you've got both limbs bending fairly consistently, like so, you want to make your actual string, not this big long tillering string. So obviously that's too long to string up the bow. So however you choose to make your string, you can go buy one if you have to. I make a Flemish string with a Flemish string jig. Sometimes I'll just, if I don't have any B50 or anything, I'll make a artificial sinew string. Whatever works, whatever you want to do. I mean, the Flemish strings are nice. Here's my Flemish string jig. There's lots of videos on YouTube how to make these, but that's what I make my Flemish strings with. I'm out of B50. I used to have it. The nice Flemish strings are in, you do each strand in different colors. I like to do black and blue, but all I had was black, so I made a solid black Flemish string. And when you get your bow ready to string up, let me put it in the vise here. Excuse the mess on my table. Put the bow in the vise. Some people don't do this, but I recommend it. I've never had a bow break after starting this. And it's what I call burnishing. The back, understanding the science of how a bow works. The back faces the target. The belly faces the archer. The back, as it bends, is under tension and it's wanting to rip apart. The belly is under compression. It's squeezing together. So what we're going to do is we are going to do what I call burnishing, and we're going to protect the back of the bow, or help protect it. I'm going to try to zoom you guys in here so you can see. It might be kind of hard to see. Try to get a glare. Maybe that'll work. Okay. I'm going to take a smooth screwdriver. That's what works best for me. Anything smooth and hard that you guys can get would work. But you take the screwdriver and you rub it over the back of the bow. And I don't know, I'm having a hard time getting you guys a good view of it. But you can see it will actually get shiny and smooth. And what we're doing is we're compressing the fibers on the back of that bow. And that's going to help keep those wood fibers from wanting to rip apart. It's going to make it nice and hard and compressed. So I'm going to set you guys down over here and compress these fibers, finish burnishing the bow, and then I'll string it up and we'll put it up on the tillering tree. once again, like I said, I think everyone has had a bow break before, and it's a very sad thing when you spend so much time and the bow breaks. But after I started doing this, I never had another break. Now, I'm sure that's not directly related to this, but it has to help. You compress the sides as well. Now, because I'm in a hurry to film this video, I would also recommend getting your final sanding and everything done to the back of the bow, and then compressing it, burnishing it. But I'm not going to do that because I'm in a hurry. So, which may be a bad idea because I've still got some tool marks and stuff I can see in the back of the bow, which, once again, if you have a tool mark there and that bow's bending, that creates a weak spot for the bow to break. So, keep my fingers crossed. Turn it around. What? Come on. Dust your feet off. Sorry everyone, it's my 5-year-old. But anyway, Clayton, I'm filming a video, don't get in the way. Scoot back. Take your boots off when you get inside. Take your boots off. Sorry everyone. It's snowing out and the boy had to go play in the snow. Here comes the snowplow. Alright. Now, I'm going to string the bow up. This bow has a lot of reflex, so any bow with a lot of reflex is kind of hard to string up. Here we go. Okay, you notice that my brace height is really low. When a guy wants to, bring you guys up here. brace height, what I like to do is have the bow close to the tip of my thumb. I think that's about 6 inches, but being that we're still in the tillering process and we just strung this bow up, you want your brace height to be low. That helps reduce stress. You don't want to go ahead and brace it to full height. We're gonna put it on the tillering cable over here and see what it looks like. Okay. Okay, it looks like the limb on the left is bending a little bit more slightly than the one on the right. And right now, I am at 20 inches of draw. I'm drawing the bow 20 inches. So, also, a lot of people use the tillering tree to stick to where you actually lock the string in and then set it up and look at the bow. I went to the pulley system because I believe the tillering tree causes excessive string follow. With the pulley system, you can gently nudge it and ease off and gently nudge it and ease off. Whereas the tillering tree, if you're to sit here and hold this bow right there, consider it like a muscle. When you stretch your legs, if you hold it there, your muscle eventually loosens up and you can stretch further. Well, the same thing's happening to the wood. If you hold it there, the wood will eventually relax and it'll loosen up. And that's what causes string follow, and that's bad in bow making. You want your bows to retain their reflex for increased arrow speeds. So I recommend this pulley system over the tillering tree. But gently nudge it, let off, gently nudge it, let off. Like I said, it looks like, to me, it looks like the one on the left is bending a little bit more on the right. Both limbs have fairly good shape. So what I'm going to do is take a pencil. Where is my pencil? Take a pencil and put pencil marks on this left limb. Unstring it. Here's something else that I do that a lot of bowyers will recommend against, and it boggles my mind as to why. I've never figured out why. Most guys will tell you never to take your bow and do this after you unstring it. Don't ask me why. I've done this forever, and yeah, I can understand stringing it up backwards. What idiot's going to do that? No, you don't do that. You gently help your bow return to its original position. That's all it is. It's not going to hurt it. Now, I'll grab you guys and bring you back over here. This is where you want a good knife. You don't want a piece of junk knife here. If you guys can see the pencil marks. Hey, go away! Yeah, we are. I'm filming a video right now. Give me some time and then I'll play with you. Okay. If you guys can see the pencil marks, you take your knife and you put it on edge. You don't do it like this. You're straight up and down. Watch out, Layton. And you take it and you scrape. And you scrape until the pencil marks are gone. Now in the final tillering process, that's all you want to do is remove the pencil marks, because if you remove too much, you're losing poundage on your bow, losing strength. And in this process, you lose it really fast. So you want to be careful as not to remove too much wood, because obviously you can't put it back on. So set you up right here. Start scraping. I like to scrape in one direction and then scrape in the opposite direction. That helps prevent washboarding. Also, if you have to use calipers, I can do it by eye, but you want to scrape evenly, keeping both sides of the limb even thickness. You don't want to scrape more on one side than the other. Once again, gently remove the pencil marks. Okay. Keep your knife sharp throughout this process. Every once in a while I'll take my sharpener and I'll run my knife through it a few times. My brother's probably puking in his mouth right now because he hates these kind of sharpeners, but I think they work awesome. Okay. Almost done removing the pencil marks. A little bit more. Okay, now something else I wanted to show you guys. Something that can also help. It's not an exact science, but it can help keep both sides of the limbs even. You don't want one side fatter than the other. You see these growth rings in the bow? If you keep them to where they're pretty much running out of the bow limb even on both sides, and keep the peak in the middle of your limb, that's what's called feathering. And that will help you keep the limbs even. Now it's not exact because every piece of wood is different and the growth rings don't run perfect. You know, I think the only piece of wood that I've ever had where the growth rings are absolutely perfect was ash. And as you can see here, This growth ring runs down the bow, it's getting thinner, and then finally, right there, it runs out down to the next ring. So that will help you keep your bow limbs even. All right, let's string it back up. String it back up and check the limbs. Okay. I'm gonna block you guys. I'm kind of sitting off to the side. I need to square up. I'm gonna block you guys' views. Sorry about this. Okay, what I'm seeing is the bow to me is starting to look whip-ended. That means it's bending too much up towards the ends. That's not good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove a lot more wood next, closer to the handle. So I'm going to take my pencil if I can grab it here. And I'm going to mark from the handle down here to mid-limb. Same thing on this side. Down here to mid-limb. And I'm only going to remove wood from the handle to mid-limb. And I'm going to start leaving this alone. But that's going to wrap up the final tillering. What you want to do is you want to keep easing these limbs. Keep them bending together evenly. Probably after I get this right here, the mid limb, get the ends from being whip-ended, I'll go ahead and go to full brace height. I'll go to brace height of about 6 inches, and then I'll start laying into the bow, and I'll start achieving my overall draw length of 28 inches. I like to go for a 28-inch draw. That's good for me. Whatever your draw length is fine. But what you do, if you're trying to achieve an exact poundage draw weight, which I really don't care about, but if you're trying to achieve a draw weight, you'll want to get you what I do is get a bathroom scale, and I get a tillering tree, which is a U-shaped thing that I can put the bow in. And I will draw the bow down, pushing on that bathroom scale until I see the weight that I like. Okay? At the weight that I like, I've got inches. I've got inches written on the stick. When I get to that draw weight, I look at where the inches in draw length I am. So let's just say we're 55 pounds at 20 inches. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to slowly scrape until you're 55 pounds at 21. Slowly scrape. 55 pounds at 22, 23. So on and so on until you reach your draw length. Now, I would also recommend that you stay 5 pounds higher than your desired draw length, because after sanding the bow, You're going to lose some draw weight, and your bow is also going, after breaking in, is going to lose a little bit of draw weight. So hopefully you can start, if you want a 50-pound bow, go for 55, 56 pounds draw weight, and then when you're done breaking in the bow and sanding and everything like that, hopefully you'll be right around 50 pounds of draw. That's going to wrap up final tillering. When I get this bow finished, we'll string it up and we'll go shoot it. Have a nice day.